everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you 3 ways to lift your eyes using makeup. The first one is to take a concealer that's half a shade lighter than your foundation and place it here underneath the bottom half of your eye to give you a lifted look. As we age, this part of the eye starts to look a little bit redder, it tends to sink a little, so we want to brighten this area, and you will see it instantly gives you a lifted look. It makes this area look fuller, which is synonymous with being a bit more youthful. If you find you've got a lot of fine lines and wrinkles in this area, make sure that the formulation is quite thin and very hydrating. The concealer I'm using is by Bare Minerals, but it has been discontinued. So one of my other favourites is the Trinny London BFFI. So as you can see, between the difference, it's really subtle because we've only gone half a shade lighter, but it definitely gives the illusion of a lifted look. It definitely makes that area look fuller. You can of course go a whole shade or even 2 shades lighter depending on your foundation. If you're wearing something that's very lightweight, then make sure that your concealer is also lightweight. And then again, if you're wearing something that's fuller coverage, you can afford to go fuller and slightly lighter in the shade because the pairings work well together. So that is the first step in creating a lifted look. You can also set it with a slightly lighter powder if you don't have a concealer that's bright enough to create a slightly more lifted look, but just having that extra coverage there will give you a lifted appearance. Next up, we're going to create a lifted look using eyeshadow. This isn't something that you've never seen before, but it is a great tip and one that I think that a lot of us forget to try. So we're taking some tissue and placing that on the outer corner of the eye. The trajectory will be up towards the tail of your eyebrow. And then we're going to take some matte eyeshadows in a brown tone. Just make sure whatever tone you use, it is slightly darker than your skin tone. You want to keep this kind of perpendicular to the highest point of your mobile lid, so where the eye crease is, go outwards, and that's kind of going to be the highest point for the transitional shade. The transitional shade is the lighter brown. That will be the highest colour that you take, and then we will work downwards with a slightly deeper tone towards the eyelash line. So I'm sweeping this from the outer corner of that paper onto the eyelid down towards the middle of the eyelashes. So this is great even if you have hooded eyes. You can remove the paper once you've got the shape down, and then you can lift that fold of skin and just fill it in. That way you will still be able to create that lifted look even with a hooded eye. As you can see, it instantly gives you an eye lift. And this can be done with the lightest of browns, so it doesn't even have to look like you're wearing a ton of eyeshadow. You'll see at the end, because I'm using quite light tones, it still looks relatively daytime appropriate. I'm placing the tissue back along the line I've already created, and I'm going in with a slightly deeper brown. This time I'm not taking it much higher than the mobile lid itself, and again we're doing the same thing, coming off of the edge of that towel onto the lid itself and towards the middle of the eyelash line. This is great if you have particularly rounded eyes. This will give you a bit more of an almond shape. It really does give that beautifully lifted appearance to the eyes, and it doesn't have to be heavy. You can go in and soften the line if you don't want it to be quite as intense. The brush I'm using is a duo fibre brush that's tapered, so it applies less product and you can be a bit more precise because the edges are pointed. This one is by MAC, and the eyeshadows that I'm using is the Natasha Denona Camel palette, which is the same one I used in last week's tutorial for the faux freckles. So as you can see, I've used the bristles just to add a slight softness to that line. I'm now going in with an angled liner brush and the darker brown to intensify that outer edge, which is great for the lifted look if you don't always wear an eyeliner or you struggle to wear eyeliner because your eyes are hooded. This is a much more forgiving process. When you use an eyeshadow and you've created that defined line using the tissue, you can work on this to build it up. Again, if you do have that fold of skin, you'll have that defined line cut through over the top of that fold, and when you lift that fold, you just fill it in, and that way when your eyes are open, you'll get that beautiful lifted appearance, and when you look down, it'll be soft because it's all created with eyeshadow. So overall it gives the appearance of a winged liner, but it is soft because of the eyeshadow, and it just defines the lash line on the outer edge. If you find you have hooded eyes and the fold goes way past your eye itself, then obviously this look may not be for you. I'm just going to give my eyelashes a little crimp with an eyelash curler. If you'd like to see how to use this curler, I will link the tutorial up on the top right for you. You can really concentrate the curl on the outer edge to give that lifted finish. And if you're not a huge mascara wearer or you don't like eyelashes, then you can really concentrate on building up the outer third of your eyelashes. That also will give you a lifted look. I'm using a sample size of the Charlotte Tilbury push-up mascara. It might be the Pillow Talk push-up one. I really love these. They're so good if you're traveling. You always get these as a free option when you buy from Charlotte Tilbury online. Here I'm just going underneath the top lash line. This is a great tip if you have hooded eyes and you find that if you put eyeliner on the top of your lash line and then you look up and you can't see it, this is a great way to define your lash line. It makes it look fuller, but you don't lose any space on your top lid. You're actually getting tons of tips in this video. This is not part of the 3. This is the 3rd tip though. I'm taking some Ardell Wispies. These are the Faux Mink ones, and I'm going to cut these so that I'm using the first half of the eyelash. Because these are a gradient from small to large to small again, because they're rounded, you could actually cut these directly in the centre and use half for each of your eyes. The placement for this is on the outer half of the eye. Because it goes from small to large in its shape, it's creating a lifted look on the outer half with that winged effect, and then it gets smaller as we get to the centre of the eyelid. By only placing it on the outer half, that's what's creating that beautiful lifted appearance. If you took it all the way across, then you'd get more of a rounded effect to the eye. A little tip if you've applied some black liner close to the root of your eyelashes is that you can place this eyelash on the skin, leaving a small gap between your natural lashes and the false ones, and that will create an even more lifted finish. So those are my 3 quick tips on how to create a lifted finish to your eyes with the use of makeup. If you would like to see more of these kind of tip videos that are quick and easy, that just give you some simple ideas that you can adopt within your makeup routine, then let me know. I will list and link all the products I've used in the description bar. Please subscribe if you are new to my channel, and please give the tutorial a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. You can also follow me over on Instagram at ShowMeMakeup, and I'll see you Sunday with another video. Bye guys!